Alright, welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video, and this is actually a little bit of a rant or complaint, or I consider it more of a public service announcement. This is the Pinball Arcade playing on the PlayStation TV, the little console that I've talked about before, and the Pinball Arcade is actually the main reason that I got the PlayStation TV. I thought, hey, being able to play all my favorite pinball machines in the bedroom is a great idea. But I'm here to tell you it's not worth it. I mean, I'm overall happy with the final result of all the headaches that I've had trying to get this to work, but I thought I might just do a little video here to show what the problems are. And if you're ever thinking of getting the Pinball Arcade on the PlayStation TV, or like me, if you're thinking of getting the PlayStation TV so that you can play the Pinball Arcade, be warned, it's not worth it. So what are my reasons for complaining about the Pinball Arcade on the PSTV? There's three big issues, the last of which is not anything I can do anything with, and maybe someday it'll get fixed by Farsight, but given how slow it's been to get the second of the big hurdles fixed up, I'm not holding my breath on the third one. But let's go over all three. Actually, outside of these three issues, I must say that I'm not impressed with how Farsight have handled Pinball Arcade on the PlayStation consoles. I mean, they've released tons of great tables, and I really like what they're doing. And when they were first announced, I thought, yes, this is a fantastic idea. I'm so on board. But then the tables would come out on iOS and Android and almost any other platform. Okay, maybe not Xbox 360, and I know those poor folks never got any DLC, so absolutely my sympathy is with them. At least we got it on the PlayStation consoles, but it took a long time, months sometimes, before we would see what was already out on iOS. And that's coupled with the fact that when I then got the PlayStation 4 and I thought, oh, just like Zen Pinball, I'm just gonna load up the games that or the tables that I've already paid for, I was advised by the PlayStation Network, nope, you have to buy them again for PlayStation 4. And I thought, okay, that can't be right, because Zen Pinball, you buy it on PS3, you can play it on your Vita, your PSTV, and you can download it for free on your PS4. And I tested this last night. If I buy a table for the PlayStation 3, I can play it on the PlayStation TV here for free. If I had a Vita, it would also work on that. And if I get it on the PS4, it's for free as well. So Zen Pinball 2 have got it sorted out right. Pinball Arcade here from Farsight, sure, PS3 and PSTV or Vita, yes, you can totally cross-play or buy it once and you play it on both of those. But if you want to play it on the PlayStation 4, you have to buy it again, and I'm not a fan of that, and I'm not a fan of how long these things are taking. However, that's kind of for another rant. I'm not thrilled with how Farsight have handled that side of things. But I'm willing to overlook it because, yes, you do eventually get some of these great tables. I mean, two out of my three favorite pinball machines of all time are on this collection. And I'm really thrilled. I don't think the third one will ever show up, and I'll do a video about that someday. But hey, they've got a lot of tables that I really love, even stuff that I didn't think would ever make it. Yeah, this is great. So overall, I can look past the slowness of releases for PlayStation and the cross-buy thing. You know, I'm just not buying them on PS4, at least not yet. However, that's beside the point. The big thing for me was, okay, with all of those limitations and faults, let's at least get it on PSTV, because I've bought these tables for the PlayStation 3 ages ago, so they're just sitting there for free for PSTV, let's play them, and I did. Now, the first issue comes with the Vita, and I'm going to have to show the PlayStation 3 controller here. The Vita only has these two bumpers here. It does not have these two bumpers. I've got little extenders on here. And so what I really found surprising with the Pinball Arcade was I was forced to only use these two bumpers, and I find these two much more comfortable for playing with. And I thought, oh, no problem. Obviously, they're going to have, for the PSTV version, something in the options to remap the controls so that you can make these be the flippers. No, they don't. because this is only made for the Vita, they think there's only the 2 bumpers possible, and they just don't have the option. Ugh. So that was one hurdle. Now, luckily, I already did a video about my solution, which was to get this Nyko Raven, which allows you, through the flick of a switch, to actually swap these 2 bumpers for these 2 bumpers. And so that was the solution. One minor criticism I'm discovering of using the Nyko for, the wireless Raven here, for Pinball Arcade is sometimes as I'm playing away, bumper action is fantastic, but if I need to nudge the table and I give the thumbstick a very slight little nudge with my thumb, I can very quickly risk tilting the table. And so this controller is great for the bumpers. It's not great for nudging the table, but you know what? I'm willing to live with that. That was my band-aid for the first hurdle with Pinball Arcade on PSTV, and I'm fine with that. I'll make that work. So yes, first hurdle patched with this Nyko Raven controller. Now the second hurdle that I had to overcome, and I've done a video about this as well, was the fact that when I first got the PlayStation TV, I had no memory stick inside the thing, because I thought, well, I'm only going to be playing Pinball Arcade, and those tables are not enormous. The 1 gigabyte of space, I originally thought there was 2 gigabytes, the 1 gigabyte of space on the PSTV that it comes bundled with should be fine for playing the Pinball Arcade. Then I quickly discovered, you know what, there's enough other games, TXK and variety of others. I'm definitely going to need more space than this, so I'll just plug in a... Did I get an 8 gig? I think it was an 8 gig card that I got cheap. And that'll cover me, and that has been fine, and I've been very, very happy with it. Unfortunately, when I plugged it in, suddenly all the DLC tables were gone. I mean, I've got Black Hole showing here because that's one of the default 4 that you can play. But other tables like Black Knight 2000 or Dracula, they were gone. I couldn't access those, even though I had paid for them. I could only play the original default tables like Black Hole. And again, I did a video about that. Luckily, eventually a patch came out when the newer tables, like for example up here, I've got Zenon, which I'm very, very happy with. When the new patch for the PlayStation 3 version of Pinball Arcade came out so that I could get Zenon, that fixed all of the DLC issues. I can now access, as you can see from my list here, all of the tables that I'd already bought. So that was good. I mean, it was a bit of a stickler, a hiccup, if you will, but at least I was able to finally get all those tables. It took a long time. A friend of mine has had the same problem with his PS3. He uninstalled Pinball Arcade, and now all of his DLC tables have vanished. So that is a second reason that I would say be very careful if you're thinking of doing this on your PSTV. Be sure that you have all the memory capacity and all that stuff sorted out before you download the Pinball Arcade for your PSTV. And the final and third hurdle, and this is the one that I don't think there's going to be a fix for, and it's a little bit annoying. This has been, to me, I mean, after getting the Nyko Raven controller to be able to use the flippers, and after finally waiting for a patch to come out so that I could play Zenon and all these other tables, I thought, okay, it's been a long saga, but at least I finally got the Pinball Arcade working the way I'd like it. And I started playing, and I discovered the third hurdle, which I doubt is ever going to be fixed, and I just want to say this is kind of the straw that's broken the back for me. I mean, I've done it now, and I'm happy, question mark, with the end result. But if anybody's thinking of going down this long path that I have done to get Pinball Arcade working on the PSTV, be warned about this final hurdle, because it might just ruin any chances you want to ever consider or entertain the notion of getting the Pinball Arcade. Let me show you on Zenon. Now, Zenon's a very cool table. I like it because it straddles a nice period in pinball history where you don't quite have those DMD displays, and yet you're not also dealing with electromechanical. I love DMD type games from the 80s, and I love electromechanical games from the 60s. But I have a little bit of a soft spot for these middle ground ones like Zenon here. Anyway, let's have a game, and I'm gonna show a little bit of gameplay, but the big thing is at the end of the game. That's the final hurdle.
Enter Zenon.
And here we go. Here is the ending. So I just made a high score. Great. Let me put my name in here. There we go. Initials entered. Wow, I'm number 4. Awesome. That's great. Let me try this on another table. Okay, let's try the same thing on Pinbot, another great game. Well, there we go. That's got to be one of my best games ever. So let's enter my initials here. Put in my K, and now I'd like to put in my E, so I hit the X on the controller, and nothing is happening. I'm hitting the X. I can definitely choose the other letters, but if I want to do the next letter, if I want to select, it worked on Zenon, nothing is happening. So I can't enter my initials. Now my fix for this has been just wait 2 minutes or whatever it is, and then eventually the game times out and says, well, you've taken too long to put in your initials, so I'll just take you back to the menu like this. So there we go, my K, in fact it's that top one, 8.29 million. That's me in the top spot, just like my previous game, K, because I can't enter my initials because these tables are a little messed up. Now, I've checked on the forums for the Pinball Arcade. This is a known issue with the quote-unquote Vita version, because of course when you've got that select down there, you're supposed to just tap it with your finger on the touchscreen. But you can't with the PlayStation TV. So why can't I hit X? I can for Zenon. There's a bunch of other tables it does work for. It doesn't work on certain tables. And I think that's a real frustration, shall we say. When I finally got this controller and all these different tables that I've bought working, and I started playing and really enjoying it, I went to enter my initials, like this time on Pinbot, and I couldn't. And I was really annoyed at that. I just thought, you gotta be kidding me. After all these other problems and hurdles I've had to overcome, even this doesn't work? And it's a known issue, and there's various comments online that say, oh yeah, Farside are gonna patch the individual tables for the Vita version of the Pinball Arcade someday. And I'm just like, well, you know what? I'm not holding my breath anymore. I mean, I've kind of reached my limit. So that's my rant. That's my video. I consider it more of like a public service announcement. If you are here to get the Pinball Arcade for the PSTV, be aware you're going to need a different controller if you like using these for your flippers. You're going to need to be very careful with how you manage your memory stick. And you're not going to be able to enter your initials in certain tables. And it's just the way it is. There's no workaround for it. Okay, well, that's enough whining and complaining. I don't normally rant or give off, but given this was one of the main reasons I got the PlayStation TV, I feel kind of annoyed about it, and so I just thought I'd make a video to show it off. And to show the problem as it actually happens. Alright, that's it. Until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.